Don't worry about the raging noise in the background, that's just my fire because it's freezing here at the moment. Right, let's have a look at create mode. So from the exporter video, we had created these two pose packs. So let's open one of these and we'll have a quick look at what we can do inside create mode. So once it's open, you'll need to click up here on your actions tab. Once you have this open, you'll notice up here we have pose 1, pose 2, pose 3, etc. By clicking on one of these, it is then showing all the settings for that particular pose. And also if we want to test the pose, we can click on the play button here and that will activate the pose. So let's have a look at the top here. First we look at the trigger. So we can change this trigger to whatever. We could call this pose 300 if we wanted to. Just remember that whatever you create here will be what your client will have to type in the 3D window to activate the pose. So the simpler the better. Looking further down, you don't really have to worry about any of this up here unless you wanted to add a sound file to your avatar with the trigger. But down here, this is the most important part. First we have a look down here at the skeletal animation. This is the XAF, the file that is created from Pandora when you export. So you can change this with other poses that you create in the future if you want to do that. You can do that just by clicking on add XAF and that will navigate to wherever you want to go to and find your poses. Next down here we have composition. This needs to be replaced. For an avatar it would be average, but we're doing a pose pack here for action, so it will be replaced. Over here under the skeletal frame controls you've got loops. Now I have this set at 0 by default, and that means that the pose will stay in pose and will not come out. However, if we put, for example, 5 in here and then we apply changes and then we activate that pose again, see, notice that it didn't even stay in pose. We could actually put in here, say 50, and then we'll click just there and then we'll click apply changes. Now if we push play, it will go into pose, but not for long. You'll watch, see, it'll come out. So that depends how you want to do it, but I like to have that set on 0. That means infinite, so we'll leave that on 0. Now over here is pretty important, blend in and blend out. I have this set to 10. You'll notice that as it goes into the pose, it sort of moves like that, but to tell you the truth, I actually quite like 30. I'll show you 30 here. If we put 30 in here, this is when it goes into the pose, and 30 when it will come out. We'll apply changes, and if we push play, see, it's nice and slow, looks nice and smooth. So that's just personal preference, but I actually like 30. So once we've done this, and those are the basic settings. Down here, if you know how to create expressions, then this is where you would load your expression files. That's something we're looking at later on in Pandora. So that's basically that. Just remember that if you do make a change, for example, if I unclick disable gaze and I click back, you'll notice that the applied changes has come up here. You will have to click apply changes before it will actually take effect with anything on the pose. So just remember that. Very important. Sometimes you might make a change here, like see, for example, I'll put 2 here and there's no apply changes come up, so I just click in this spot right there and that will actually make that activate. So then we'll click apply changes, so then we'll click save, and then we want to click upload, and that will bring up the product card here. So in here, you know, this is where you will obviously give your product a name. We'll call this pose pack 1. And here you'll choose a rating if you've got no poses where they're holding their breasts or anything like that, so it's just general audience. You'd check that. If you've got naughty poses, then you'd click access. Your profit, that's up to you. I'll put 2,000 here to start with, and all these are derivation fees and markups, so that's the final price there that your customers will see. If you want it visible in shop straight away, when you submit to shop, then this is what you'll check that, but I actually like that unchecked because I like to edit my product first and put it through peer review hidden, and then once it's ready, then I'll unhide it. Allow derivation, well, that depends on what you're doing with this product. I never do, but I quite often allow it to be in bundles, so then I can make bundles myself for my products, but you can always change these settings later. So at the moment it's going into the clothing for female. but we can change that also in a minute. And add image, here is where you would have your product icon. So let me just see if I can find one here. Where are we? We'll have to have a look in here. Actually, we'll go into toolkits, and we'll go into body kits, and we'll go into graphics, and we'll look at an icon there, and we'll do that one for example, and then we'll submit to shop. So everything's here. You can also, you can also add keywords for the search when people are trying to search for your product. So you could add, gothy or whatever you want, and you can separate that with a comma, and then happy, whatever you wanted to do. You could even put your own developer name, Visnova, and that's basically it. And then you click submit to shop. Now once you click submit to shop, that will actually open up your web page side of things. So here you can further change your settings. So what we want to look at here, this is not published, which means it will not go through peer review yet. So here you've got the basic settings. Now what I like to do is I'll go into edit settings here, and then this is where I further edit the product, what I want to do with it. So here you can change the name. Up here is cargoes. At the moment I like all my action packs into the avatars category, so I'll change that to avatars. Now in this description, this is where you can either add just a text description, or you can add links to pictures of your poses, and it will show up the pictures here. I'm going to actually do a tutorial on this, so look for that under the Pandora tutorials. Here is general audience, which you've already got. You've already got the derivation cost here. Your catalog image here, which is the icon up the top, which is already done. Compatibility here. If it's a pose pack, I like to have it checked for both, so then it will work for female and male. And also these two unchecked, and there's your basic keywords. So we'll go to submit. Actually there's no description, so there we go. We need to put a description. We'll just put in test in here. Well, it's actually published it anyway. Not published it, but it's actually saved it anyway. So now if you want to put it in the catalog through peer review, we'll go click here to publish. If you don't, leave it out, edit your product, and then do this at a later stage. And that's basically it.